Front Row MMA, we're here at 4D, Long Eaton, Nottingham, with Leeroy Barnes. Leeroy, got a fight coming up about 6 weeks away.
Yeah, 6 weeks now.
Questions got to be asked. You know, I think there are people out there that have kind of written Leeroy Barnes off. And this is this is got to be a big fight for you. Are you thinking that way, or is this just another fight?
No, to be honest, I've fucked all that off. To be fair, like I've put a lot of pressure on myself for a while, and I think that's what's fucked me up. And to be fair, I've got six fights left now with Cage Warriors. I've re-signed with them, so I'm just. It's just to me, mate. It's just six more fights. I'm just going to enjoy them and enjoy the journey. I'm lucky to be doing what I'm doing. To be fair, and on the biggest show in Europe, I'm just enjoying training again. I'm just going to enjoy it, man, and go and enjoy the fight. I don't want to think about winning or losing, just performing, innit?
Do you think in the past that you've been guilty of that, putting too much pressure on yourself, thinking too much about, the consequence of a win or a loss before you've gotten into the cage? Because it's just talking to you there, you just seem a whole lot happier.
Yeah, well, what it was is I went for a really good stage, and then I came to the Praisey fight and I fought Praisey, and I think it was after the Praisey fight I'd just sort of like been, I need to get a win, I like, because everything, I sort of did everything I wanted to do in that fight, and that was when I really sort of like in my head was coming into my own, and I was like, right, I've got to keep it up, I've got to win this, I've got to get straight back in the cage, and I rushed to get back in a couple of times, and I didn't train properly, and my head wasn't right, and I fucked up, and then the last fight I had a really good camp for Mills, but again I think his name made me put a lot of pressure on myself. I was like, I've got to beat Mills, I've got to do this, and I got really hyped up for it. And what, like, the thing I was going to do, like, to be honest, like, my whole game plan in that fight was to make it a messy, horrible fight and to gas him out, because I know he loses concentration later on into the rounds, and he gasses a bit, so I was like, make it as messy and horrible as I could in the first round, and then try and come a bit tidier in the later stages. But he caught a choke, and he did catch it. It was good, man. So, he won for us. He had no excuses. It was just good to fight him, because I've been a fan of Shay for many years. I didn't think I'd be fighting these people when I got into the sport, and that's the way I'm thinking now. I'm lucky to be where I am and just enjoy it.
We'll talk Chris Scott in a second, but I'm not comparing you to another fighter. That's not fair. But Jack Marshman went through a little bit of a bad patch, considering his young career compared to how many fights you have.
Yeah.
Then he got beaten in his Cage Warriors debut. Then he comes in and, beats Bull. And now, is it just a matter of having that springboard? Is that what Leeroy... Because now he's in title contention. 2 fights, 3 fights, and Jack's in title contention. Is this fight a springboard for you?
Well, yeah, I guess so. It's like, I remember when I fought Praisey, they were saying, oh, you beat Praisey, you might... because the title was vacant at the time, and he had recently fought for it. So it was like... And then everything just went downhill, and I put a lot of pressure on myself, and now I'm just going to enjoy the fights and see where it leads. I'm not thinking about anything but enjoying myself and enjoying training. And yeah, like you say about Marshman, he had a good performance at the weekend, and I think come through this, Chris Scott's a good guy. He's a tough test, and to be honest, it's an exciting fight for me. His style excites me. So
he's, I know he's 6-3, but we look at all 6 of his wins. All of his 6 wins come from submission, either triangle or armbar, I think. So, yeah. This guy obviously handy off his bat. Is there a game plan for this fight? What's Leeroy got to watch out for with this kid?
Yeah, well, I know he's just good. I remember him from the grappling circuit when I used to do the grappling comps and stuff, and yeah, he's got good jits, and his stand-up was a bit underrated. I've watched his last couple of fights, and his stand-up looks a lot improved as well. But now I'm just going to go in. I'm not, I'm wary of everything. I'm just going to go in and do what I want to do. Like, there's a lot of things in fights previously where I thought, like in the Mills fight, there was stuff I wanted to do that I worked in the gym, and then I got in there and I was like, I can't do it, 'cause if I do it, then he's going to do this, and overthinking. Now I'm just going to get in and just do what comes naturally, which is what I used to do. But like when I went for a good patch, I was just fighting and doing all right and being happy and enjoying it. And then when you get like a good ranking and people start looking, oh no, I've got to perform, I've got to do this, and it's just shit, man. So
after the loss, were you worried at all that Cage Warriors might go, it's not worked for you, Leeroy? What do you think the difference was in keeping you on? Because there are some fighters that perhaps might not have been given that opportunity, and some who have been given an opportunity they don't deserve. You've obviously got a huge social presence. This is social media. You've got a huge following, but there's got to be more now. What do you think Cage Warrior's seeing you?
What it is like, I remember I lost that fight and I had one fight left on that contract when I lost to Mills, and I was thinking, I was putting a lot of pressure on myself in my head at the time, thinking I might have to win this next fight or I'm going to be out of a job. Basically, I don't want to go back to, nothing against the smaller regional shows, but I don't want to go back to that, and I wouldn't earn enough money through sponsors and stuff to live like that. So I was like, and then they re-signed me, and to be honest, I think a lot of it is to do with, you talk to Ian Dean, and there's a lot of people and ah about fights. Every single fight they've offered me, I just said yeah straight away. Yeah, you can't pick fights at that level. They offered me Mills. I said yeah. They offered him me before when we were supposed to fight last time. It was like somebody pulled out. I think he had 3-4 weeks notice after I'd fought Parazy. I was like yeah, I'll fight Mills. They say Chris Scott. I'm like yeah, we'll fight Chris Scott. Whoever they offer me, I take it. I always turn up. I always put on an exciting fight. And that's it. I always come to fight. So, I think that's what it is, and people enjoy my fights. So
I've seen on social media a couple of times. You certainly towards your last fight, you gave a shout out to UK MMA media, saying, thanks for ignoring me again, boys. Is it a case that the UK MMA media only want to talk to, and I don't want necessarily, but the winners? Is that if are you only as good as your last fight, or do you think that in order to help the sport grow, us media need to remember that sometimes a guy goes through a bad patch?
Yeah, no, I suppose like with the Mills fight, it was like, obviously I get that he's a big name and he's been in the UFC and he's done this and he's done that, but literally I had like one request for an interview before that fight, and every other day I was seeing Shay Mills interviews, and I'm thinking, obviously everyone was writing me off, and it just pissed me off a bit. But I'm not asked about any sort of media or anything now, to be honest. I'm just get on with my thing. It's always good to chat to you guys, isn't it? Fucking pricks.
Yeah.
Nah. But
American dickhead. We'll get in there somewhere.
Yeah. So, but if people want an interview, they can have an interview. But what annoys me a lot of the time is they send me an email saying, can you fill this interview out? And it's the same fucking questions every time. And I know I shouldn't begrudge getting my name out there and stuff, but it's the same questions. It's like, well, just read the last interview because it's the same questions. And I'm always on my phone, I'm always travelling. To fill these things, I've got to go and like copy it into Word and go on a desktop and that. I'm never near a computer, so I end up missing some of them anyway. It's like, just ring me up, I'll phone you if you're that asked about your phone bill. It's easier that way. But like you guys, you make the effort to come down, film a few things, but I'm better in person anyway. Do you like my beard?
But that, nice. Jimmy's getting one. Is this like what is it, Simpson strength now?
Right.
With the beard?
Jimmy's is longer than mine, right? But he copied me. I've had mine trimmed and shaped right. If you remember, I had mine when I fought Mills. I started it then, and Jimmy was like, "That looks fucking cool. That I'm gonna do that. I am Jimmy's style icon, right?" No, listen, I've told him. He comes in wearing Reebok tracky bottoms, Adidas top, fucking sauce knee trainers. I'm like, listen mate, you can't do that. If you've got night trainers, you've got a night top on, right? Now look at him, right? You look at him today, come in, night tracksuit, night trainers. It won't match anymore. I made him throw out his tap out hats, everything. Honestly, he texts me, he's like, Leeroy, I'm going out with my missus. Should I wear this? I'm not joking, mate, honestly.
That's awesome.
I'm Jimmy Wallhead, style icon.
One of the things I want to talk about is, you've trained in a lot of different places, but you've been coming down to 4D now, consistently for, it's 8-9 months, I think you've been doing it. And again, you seem happier. Is it the case that you feel like part of this family now? Because watching them push you during the Shark Tank, how important is that?
It cost me a lot of money to come down here, and I stay down here I get here on a Wednesday, I stay till Saturday every week, and but it's worth it, at first I came down and I was happy here, but I wasn't really I was part of the team, but it was hard for me to adjust to the new style of training, new training times, new methods, and I think that initial phase I maybe shouldn't have fought for a while because it was hard to adjust to the way these guys wanted me to work. But now I'm fitting in, it's great. Jimmy spends a lot of time with me, doing a lot of time taking me, and I appreciate that. And Goddard as well, Richie Goddard, he spends a lot of time with me. Wayne from here puts a lot of time into me, and everyone works as a team, and I feel part of the team, and it's good, and I'm seeing a lot of technical improvements since I've been coming down, and I look forward to training now. Like, I get home on a Saturday and I'm like, I want to get back down to Nottingham like now. Do you know what I mean? And I look forward to getting down here and we have good fun and we train hard and everyone pushes each other and everyone brings different things to the table and it's good. We've got good guys down here.
It's actually, yeah, I think this is probably the most laid back I've ever seen you. There,
What are you trying to say?
What
What
you know?
are you trying to say?
Yeah, that's exactly my point. Yeah, but surely that's a good thing. You know, again, is that part of the fact that you're settled in here? Is it the fact that you've put aside you know the past is the past? I'm just looking forward. What's that difference up here?
I don't know. Yeah, like I've sort of forgotten everything else. Like to me now, I'm not really thinking about any past fights. I'm just thinking about training now and what I'm doing and sort of I don't know, starting again. Like I'm just enjoying training and I'm not gonna go into any fights with any apprehensions now. Like, I can't do this, can't do that because he's good at this. I'm just gonna go in, do what I want to do, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I've got 6 fights, and if I have a good 6-fight run, then who knows? If I don't, then you know it's been a good ride, hasn't it? But you know, yeah, it's just I'm angrier training at the moment, like I used to be, like the Leeroy smash phase. When I'm sparring properly, I'm angrier, which is good because I've not had that for a while. I've tried to be sort of technical all the time, and I don't know if that's working for me. Whereas now I've got the technique and I'm putting it together, and it's sort of working for me. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, what can Leeroy Barnes fans expect come November 1st? You know, you're obviously you picture the win. That's what you visualize, but. You know, is this fight going the distance, or are we not happy to call that?
It could do, you know. Chris is durable. I'm not making any sort of assumptions to the fight, but you know, it's going to be a tough fight for him, man. Because again, it's going to be like the old me when I used to come out fast and hard, and I'm gonna have a bit more technique added to that now, which is going to make me slightly more dangerous, and it's going to be good, man. So I'm
performance award.
Yeah, well, that's what I want, some bonuses, man. So I want to make some money, Anna.
Well, now let's talk bounties then. Yeah. So, are you looking? You know, I take it you're not going to be looking for the calf slicer, but maybe the flying Superman punch. No, seriously, is there any on there that you?
Well, I used to throw flying knees a lot early on. I stopped doing them. I'm good at heel hooks, but Dean from Next Gen got that little twat. So yeah, so I was looking at that one.
Go Plata, not now. You know, with Richie Goddard there, maybe working.
Yeah, I could, but I don't really want to be on my back if I'm honest. To be fair, like, yeah.
And no one's claimed the head kick knockout yet.
Yeah, I could do that because I'm kicking again now. I didn't kick for a while in a lot of my fights due to an injury, but that's all cleared up now. I'm kicking again. I'm doing tire pads regularly. So
on a serious note, though, the bounties, because I've asked the fighters is that listening to you, I don't think that they're entering into your head. You're going in there to fight, but is there a risk do you think that some guys would be looking for an opportunity for one of these techniques that perhaps they shouldn't be? Do you think people might?
Yeah, but possibly, but you know, you going for some of the submissions are a bit risky to be attempting, but you know. You can't really lose throwing a flying knee or a head kick, can you? You know, yeah. It's gonna, if you miss or even if you throw a flying knee and it doesn't even land, it looks good, doesn't it? So, you know what I mean.
This fight's 6 weeks away. Again, Chris Scott, he's coming off a couple of losses as well. He's going to come in with something to prove. Is this going to be a case of the guy who wants it most is going to win this fight? Is this about will, or is your technique just a little much for him?
I'm not even thinking about who wants it most. I've not even thought about winning or losing. Like when I visualize it, I just visualize like going and performing, getting everything right, and looking good, doing it, and putting on a good fight. You know, and that's it. And if I do that, then the win will be there, won't it? So just concentrating on the process. You know, I'm not thinking past the first move, the first exchange, first takedown, first submission attempt, and as it all folds out, hopefully it'll come together. So.
Well, you know, 6 weeks away. We look forward to seeing you step in the cage. It seems like it's been a long time, but maybe that break has done you some good.
The break's been really good. And I've been discussing this as well. The last couple of times I've had a big break before a fight, I've come back and I've performed really well. I had a break before the Crazy fight. I had a break before I fought Steve Watson at Bama. I've done the same this time. I went away. I didn't train for a couple of months. Well, I say I didn't train. I did jits most days, but that was all I was doing, just jits. And I was just going out a lot, catching up with all my mates, partying, and just, you know, but it's relaxed me. All my injuries went as well, like, 'cause I was recovering. All I was doing was jits. All my injuries went, and I got the hunger back for training. I was like, I need to get back to gym. I want to train. And when I came back, I was enjoying it. I've got no injuries. You know, everything's good. So now I'm raring to fight again. I think I need that, and probably you'll find after this I won't fight as regularly, because I think it works for me having a bit of time off.
You know, with 6 weeks to go, there's got to be people you want to give a shout out to. There's got to be sponsors you want to thank. Leeroy, please feel free.
Yeah, just everyone down at 4D for, you know, being there for me, and Wayne and everyone. I've got some cool sponsors, man. I've got Blackpool Football Club Hotel. Sam Oyson, they help me out with training expenses. Go Developments Blackpool help me out with training expenses. Hubbard and Kelvin keep me looking fresh every time I go out. I've got Booster for the gloves and the shin pads and all that stuff. Impact for all my compression wear, shorts and stuff. Valhalla Nutrition for my supplements. What else have I got? Oh, there's loads of people. They're like the main ones. I'm pretty think. Yeah, Piranha Guard. Yeah, Piranha Guard. Who else is the man? There's other ones. I know there is, but I have got like, yeah. Go on my Twitter. Go on my Twitter. At Leeroy Barnes, all one word, and you'll see him on there. I'll give him a shout out when this interview's on. They put me on the spot, man.
I got to tell you, you did better than Jimmy Wallhead. Jimmy Wallhead just looked at me and went, "You're a bastard," before giving the list. So you got almost all the way through. Leeroy, it's always a pleasure catching up with you. Look forward to seeing you fight in that cage again. Yeah. Look forward to seeing you fight again November 1st. Thank you so much for your time, mate. Cheers.